So let's talk about the best way to make up the damage after you consume refined carbohydrates. I'm talking about the breads, the pasta, the cereals, the biscuits, the waffles, the pancakes, those refined carbohydrates. Not that you would ever give in to those refined carbohydrates, but if you know someone who is consuming those, you might want to send them this video so they can then make up the damage. First question is, what is the damage of consuming refined carbohydrates? Well, you're cramming a tremendous amount of fuel into the machine, into the mitochondria, and it's going to be overloaded with electrons and other things, okay? Now, at the same time, because those carbohydrates are refined, that means you don't get the benefit of antioxidants and nutrients that are normally supposed to protect against this oxidation and free radical damage. But now what happens is the mitochondria, because it can't utilize this fuel, there's a lot of byproducts that occur in the form of oxidants and free radicals. And that is what causes the collateral damage, the microvascular inflammation that targets the retina of the eye, the kidney, the heart, specifically the inside of the arteries, as well as your brain and the nerves. Now that you know what the damage is, what can we do to make up the damage? Well, antioxidants, all right? Most of the antioxidants that you're going to get come from plant source, but you can also get them from fish and seafood because omega-3 fatty acids can act as an antioxidant. Not to mention other things like selenium, and even organ meats have significant antioxidants. In heart meat, you have very high levels of coenzyme Q10. In fact, 10 times that of tocopherols, which is part of the vitamin E complex. All right, secondly, you do not want to get your antioxidants from synthetic vitamins, specifically synthetic antioxidants. You may or may not know this, but the majority, probably 99.9% of all the vitamins sold, you know, like the vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin C are made synthetically, okay? You do not want to get your antioxidants from those so-called nutrients. Why? Because the studies that demonstrate antioxidants actually increase your mortality are done with those synthetic antioxidants, not from actual food antioxidants. So anytime you take vitamins and you want to get antioxidants, make sure they're a food concentrate or a natural plant-based type vitamin, but not the synthetic versions. If you want more information on that, I put a link down below. Ideally, you should get your antioxidants from salad, vegetables, cruciferous, and a lot of herbs, and even green tea is a great thing to do. And at the same time, you want to avoid omega-6 oils, grains, and animals who eat grains, by the way, because it's high in omega-6, which is inflammatory. Ice cream, because you're combining fat with sugar, which is even worse than consuming sugar. Chips, which is fat and carbs, not a good combination, creates a lot of inflammation. And then also when you combine like protein with sugar, like barbecued ribs, that type of thing, not a good combination because all that increases inflammation and free radical damage and not good. So when someone consumes refined carbohydrates, we want to counter some of that damage by consuming at the same time antioxidant type foods. So after you consume a huge bowl of ice cream and a loaf of bread, follow it up with a huge bowl of salad, and that will reduce the damage.
So if you want more knowledge on how to create a healthy body, subscribe now and get daily notifications. Daily notifications, that sounds weird. Well, I'll just remind you on a daily basis. How about that?